Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. After the grand finale of the story, I arrived late stumbling into the scene. I found myself inhabiting the role of the wealthy venomous male antagonist. I raised my arms in triumph, exulting that after 22 years of poverty, I would seize revenge tonight by ordering a custom sports car. My heart raced with excitement, my hands trembling, as I checked my phone, finding only 20 yuan left in my balance. A membership renewal snatched 19 yuan in an instant. Only then did I realize with a sinking heart, my unrequited love for the heroine had consumed me. After every attempt to sabotage the hero, my family had been crushed into bankruptcy by the heroine's machinations. When the young master reveled in wealth and glory, I had no share. Bankruptcy struck and my fortune vanished. I arrived under the scorching sun, dizzy from its relentless heat. I fiercely bit into half a lymph meat bun, threw it aside, and decisively flung myself in front of the heroine's car. A piercing screech of brakes filled the air. After plummeting from the sky, I emerged from the greenery, my face twisted with gritted teeth. Her driving skills were impressive, I must admit. She sent me flying 20 meters with one hit. The Rolls-Royce door swung open. The hero and heroine, adorned in designer brands, appeared before me, radiating wealth and elegance. In stark contrast to my disheveled state, the hero Gu Baiken wore a gentle, innocent expression. He gasped in surprise, calling out, "Young Master Fang, why are you dressed so shabbily?" Then flaunting an expensive watch, he stepped toward the greenery to admire my makeup. I shouted, "Don't come closer. This is a crime scene. You can't tamper with it, lest it affect my compensation claim." Gu Baiken's outstretched hand trembled. Hesitating, he drew it back. His eyes instantly reddened. I know young Master Fang harbors resentment toward me. His heart still lingers on Bingbing, but we are truly in love. We're already together. By Ningbing's face, even her nose strip couldn't hide her disdain. It seems bankruptcy wasn't enough to teach you a lesson. What new trick are you plotting now? When had I ever schemed against this innocent hero? Only when he, knowing Bai Ningbing and I were engaged, still played the naive fool, bringing breakfast to his boss, rain or shine. Did I slap him once? When Bai Ningbing picked me up to visit the old mansion, he sat smugly in the passenger seat, chatting brightly, claiming he was carsick, refusing to move to the back. I opened the passenger door and dragged him out. When they accidentally rolled onto the same bed, he wept, saying had loved Bai Ningbing for so long. As her fiancé, I expelled him from the company. How was that malicious? It was clearly an act of justice, upholding righteousness. In this domineering CEO novel, if you didn't bend to the hero and heroine's whims, you'd be branded as vicious. Bai Ningbing shot me a glance, clearly interpreting my car-blocking stunt as a desperate act of unrequited love. She embraced Gu Baiken and turned to leave. The Rolls-Royce faded into a phantom in the distance. Only then did I calmly pull out my phone, dialing 3 numbers. "Hello? Is this the police?" Someone hit me and sent me flying, then arrogantly berated me before fleeing. At the police station, Bai Ningbing, who had returned, sat with a face ashen as iron. A young officer couldn't help but scold, "How old are you? Why would you flee after hitting someone? You can afford a Rolls-Royce, but not compensation for the victim. Don't you know? Hitandron leads to detention or even jail." I timely clutched my forehead, my head spinning. I feel like vomiting. The heroine's face was beyond grim. She glared at me darkly, squeezing my name through gritted teeth. "Fang Yuan, you think this will make me look at you?" The young officer, fed up, turned to her. "You don't need to look at him. Look at this settlement agreement first. If Mr. Fang doesn't sign, you'll be the one in jail." Bai Ningbing froze slightly, clearly unaware of the severity of Hitandron. She tried to argue I was faking it. "Is there surveillance in that alley?" "No, what about a dashcam?" A broken dashcam can't be checked." The book had mentioned the heroine's dashcam was conveniently broken, not yet replaced. Bai Ningbing, a company CEO, if jailed, the stock price would plummet tomorrow. The board of Huchuandi Crossing would unite to oust her. Seeing no room for maneuver, she tightened her face. "Fang Yuan, How much compensation do you want to sign? I rubbed my head, groaning. My head hurts so much. 50,000, my skull feels like it's fractured into dust. 500,000, or I'll stay in the hospital for years. 5 million, that should do it. The massive figure made my head spin. I stood and gave a slight bow. The boss is generous. I'll sign immediately. If there's another Hitandran opportunity, call me. As night fell, I limped back to the urban village, though I'd prepared for that crash. Aiming perfectly to land in the greenery, my body was still covered in bruises. Since my family's bankruptcy, the once glorious young master had become a street rat. Friends who once flattered me vanished without a trace. My properties were all auctioned off, forcing me to rent in this cramped urban village. The downfall a young master would avoid was the life I'd craved before crossing over. Before transmigrating, I was an orphan, struggling to get into university. While others enjoyed their youth, I carried a woven bag, scouring every trash bin on campus, scraping together next month's living expenses, until a car accident ended my life, bringing me to this world. I hauled a bag of scraps upstairs, poor for so many years. Wherever I went, I'd pick up cardboard and water bottles, saving them to sell. Life was tough. Every bit of extra money counted. But this low-barrier trade was fiercely competitive. My haul today was meager. At the dim stairwell's end, a woman with gentle eyes stood at my door, her aura heavy and somber. Seeing me, she coldly spat Fang Yuan. Bankruptcy didn't teach you a lesson. You still cling to Bai Ningbing like a ghost, making Gu Baikan cry for hours today. If you don't apologize to him, don't blame me for being unkind. I rummaged through my sealed memories, matching her face to a name. She was Zhang Wanwan, my childhood friend, also the devoted second female lead in this book. Before the hero appeared, Zhang Wanwan and I were like siblings. Bai Ningbing and I were a famed loving couple. But when the commoner hero entered, our trio's dynamic shifted. My place was taken by Gu Baikan. I remained stuck in the past, clinging to old memories, unable to move on. I lazily glanced at her, my eyes lingering on her waist. I must be mad with poverty, instinctively checking people's waists, ignoring her words. She raised her voice. Fang Yuan, are you listening to me? I cut her off, startled. What do you want to give me? I swiftly snatched the bottle from her hand, poured the remaining water into a flower pot, then expertly flattened it, tossing it into my woven bag. After all this, I wiped the sweat from my brow. What were you saying? Zhang Wanwan struggled to shift her gaze. Her momentum surged again. In Bai Ningbing's pocket, Gu Baikan found the lipstick you gave her. He nearly fainted from crying. How could you be so cruel? Always wedging yourself between them, ruining everyone's mood. Zhang Wanwan seemed to forget. I was the heroine's true fiancé. Bai Ningbing and I were engaged since our teens, bound by that engagement. When the Bai family faced a financial crisis, the Fang family raised a fortune to help her through it. But the hero's arrival turned everything upside down. He stood before me tear-eyed, stubbornly questioning young Master Fang. Why must you use money to tear Bingbing and me apart? When were the ones truly in love? Bai Ningbing's wavering heart tipped entirely. She glared at me fiercely. Aside from his humble origins, Gu Baikan surpasses you in every way. The Fang family's bankruptcy came swiftly. My parents, unable to bear the blow, passed away. I planted that lipstick, leaving the police station to spark a fight between the hero and heroine. Without this meddling couple, I'd have been the Fang family's young master, just a step away from a life of wealth and love with my parents. Cutting off my wealth was like desecrating my ancestors' graves. My money, I'd take it all back with interest. I met Zhang Wanwan's furious gaze. How did you know Gu Baikan was crying? Did you run to comfort him? She gritted her teeth. After fighting with Bai Ningbing, he had nowhere to go. He came to my place. Do you know? He cried so hard he could barely speak, clinging to my skirt, begging me not to confront you. Yet here she was, truly the devoted second female lead, watching the hero's happiness from afar, rushing to his side when he fell. The book once said, Zhang Wanwan was Gu Baikan's eternal regret, the one he could never have after choosing the heroine. If it was such a regret, why not let the hero have a harem? Take Zhang Wanwan as a favored concubine, with affection shared evenly. Wouldn't that soothe all his regrets? That night Zhang Wanwan grabbed my wrist. You must come with me to apologize to Baiken. She looked frantic, like a sea cucumber, stir-fried with Yunnan mushrooms. I calmly broke free from her grip, secured my woven bag, pointed to the dilapidated building behind me. Do you know where this is? Zhang Wanwan looked down, her tone lofty. Isn't this just the urban village? You're no longer the lofty Fang family heir, living here. This is the price for bullying Baiken. I nodded calmly. To defeat someone, first drag them to your level, then crush them with your life's experience. Like ordering takeout, Zhang Wanwan's coupons could never match my deals. In the dark stairwell, my face brimmed with readiness. I launched a kick at the unsuspecting Zhang Wanwan. A scream echoed. She tumbled down the stairs in a heap. Her left leg struck the hard concrete, wailing in pain. Sweat beaded on her forehead. The voice-activated light flickered on, illuminating my cold, triumphant gaze. My voice calm to the core reached her ears. Zhang Wanwan, understand this. The urban village's stairwell cameras are all broken. An ambulance whisked her away. Before being lifted into it, I heard the devoted second female lead in pain, screaming hysterically, Fang Yuan, you'll pay for this. I lay back on the narrow, damp bed in the urban village, staring at a yellowed stain on the ceiling, carefully recalling the book's plot. After I moved to this urban village, the story had reached its perfect conclusion. The hero and heroine lived happily together, preparing for a grand wedding, envied by all. The devoted second female lead, though regretful, became the eternal pain in readers' hearts. The villainous male antagonist met his deserved fate. To everyone's satisfaction, the antagonist opposing the heroine was thoroughly trampled into the mud, unable to rise again. The author's pen stopped there. No one knew what would happen. After a perfectly concluded story, I savagely bit into a freshly bought lymph meat bun, my thoughts lingering on the antagonist. In this world, I'd done nothing wrong, defending my rights, yet branded as vicious, becoming everyone's punching bag. And the antagonist merely competed fairly with the heroine in business, yet was labeled sinister, trampled into the mud by her. I tossed the lymph meat bun aside, quickly recalling the antagonist's details in my mind. I took a cab to the devoted second female lead's home. As night fell, in the brightly lit old mansion, Zhang Wanwan's leg was already encased in thick plaster, her tall frame confined to a small wheelchair, her face pale as death, looking ready to faint. Seeing me, her face twisted with rage. Fang Yuan, apologizing now is useless. I thought given our 20 years of acquaintance, I'd let you live quietly in the urban village. But it seems you'll never change your vicious nature. I craned my neck, peering behind her. Who said I came to apologize? I heard your leg was injured, so I brought fruit your sister loves to visit her. By the way, where's your sister? The old mansion was eerily empty. Only Zhang Wanwan's shocked face froze before me. Then it dawned on me. Zhang Wanwan's sister, stripped of her inheritance, had long been driven from the mansion. Her current living conditions were likely no better than my urban village. Fellow fallen souls, ruined by the antagonist's fate, destined for misery. I grabbed the fruit and turned to leave. Behind me, Zhang Wanwan in her wheelchair seemed to shout something. I didn't catch it. Following faint memories, in a rundown neighborhood in the capital, I knocked on a decayed basement door. Scattered liquor bottles littered the floor. Zhang Ro, reeking of alcohol, was a shadow of her former glory, reduced to despair and resentment. Her story's end was no better than mine. The Zhang family, busy with sibling rivalries, fought openly and covertly for years. Zhang Ro, defeated by Bai Ningbing, was cast out by the family. Zhang Wanwan was named the next heir. The antagonist utterly abandoned. Zhang Ro lazily glanced at me. Young Master Fang here to mock me. I shook my head, forcing a smile. I just brought fruit you love to check on you. Zhang Rao's bleary eyes scanned the apples. She spoke flatly. Who spread the vicious rumor I love apples? They're the cheapest. Bland, neither sweet nor tart. With little juice. How could I love them? They're the cheapest. Don't you know they're the most basic fruit? Utterly unremarkable. They're the cheapest. Jong-ro clamped her mouth shut, then chugged a gulp of liquor. Moments later, she frowned and grabbed an apple, taking a reluctant bite. You eat someone's food, you owe them. I leaned in pleased. Sister Jong want to make a comeback. She choked on the apple, smirking bitterly. I'm already the Jong family's outcast. How could I rise again? I grabbed her collar. Can you pull yourself together? Show the spirit you had fighting the heroine. You ate my apple. Now get up and work for me. Jong-ro froze. Her sharp mind whirred for half a second. Then she shakily reached to claw her throat, as if to spit the apple back. I slapped her hand away, grabbed a nearby water bottle, forced a gulp down her throat. Swallowing the apple, Bay's new software is about to launch. I have a way to steal it and make it ours. If we can get the funds, we can use this chance to rise again. Jong-ro nearly choked, rolling her eyes. But her gaze sparked suddenly. Young Master Fang, if you can get that software, if still got some money to invest fully. I twisted my face. A bankrupt antagonist eating apples. How much money could she have? A project this big needs tens of millions upfront. Jong-ro living in a basement probably has a few thousand at most. I asked without hope, how much do you have? 50 million, 5,000's not enough. Well, need to wait. I grabbed her face, staring 3 centimeters from Li Jian. I stared at her asking how much she had. When Bai Ningbing targeted me, I sensed the Zhang family would cast me aside as an outcast. So I quietly siphoned off some funds from the company early on. I responded methodically, my words measured. Only then did I reassess the antagonist before me. She was a business genius, the only one who could rival the heroine. If not for the heroine's protagonist halo, how could the antagonist ever have fallen? In this damp basement, she was like a subdued wolf, biding her time ready to strike. Had I known she was this capable, I would have brought more expensive fruit. With her funds injected, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Surveying the antagonist's temporary dwelling, liquor bottles scattered across the basement floor stirred the heart of this poor beast. Instinctively, I shook open my woven bag, crouching to toss all the beer bottles inside, and expertly flattening the aluminum cans. Jong-ro seemed a bit embarrassed, reaching to snatch my woven bag. It'll clean up. Reflexively, I hid the bottles and cans behind me. Why grab them? I saw them first. I stepped back, warily claiming them as mine. You can't take them. Jong-ro's hand froze midair. After a moment, her eyes reddened. She turned aside, murmuring that a young master like me was doing such menial work for her. I've been fallen for so long. You're the first to show me kindness. The antagonist's tears fell inexplicably, until I sat in a private room patting my pocket, feeling the 17 yuan and 50 cents from the recycling station. I was still utterly baffled. Was it just about taking her bottles? Why cry over it? Across from me, Uncle Song stared intently. When the Fang family was at its peak, our families were close. After the Fang family's fall, he swiftly cut ties, turning to partner with the Bai family. Now the suave man lit a cigarette. Young Master Fang begging requires some humility. This book's plot at the moment I transmigrated was etched entirely in my mind. Uncle Song was a son-in-law who married into wealth, using his in-laws' resources to amass a fortune, then secretly keeping mistresses, claiming to reclaim his lost male dignity. But he only dared to do so in secret. He lacked the means to break free from his in-laws. In a modest private room, I smiled innocently, saying Uncle Song misunderstood. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here purely to threaten you. If you don't help me get Bay's new software, it'll make sure all of the capital knows about your 6 illegitimate children. Bay's much-hyped new product was preempted by Jong-ro and me. After this book's grand finale, the cannon fodder and the antagonist finally committed their first historic misdeed. Bay's stock plummeted to the Earth's core. Yet Jong-ro and I found little joy. The project's early stages burned through cash. We poured in our entire fortune of 55 million, barely sustaining it for a dozen days. seeing the growing redness in the antagonist's eyes. I patted her shoulder reassuringly, promising I had a way to secure investment. The book's epilogue mentioned a gala would be held tomorrow. High society. Such occasions were for trading favors. The brief epilogue simply outlined the fates of the cannon fodder and antagonist, unable to endure the fall from paradise to hell. I slit my wrists in a cramped rental. Jong-ro, addicted to alcohol, died of a heart attack after binge drinking, her body undiscovered for days. But now we were both very much alive, vibrant and scheming, teaming up to thwart the hero and heroine. I sneaked into the gala. Just as I climbed over the low outer wall, a voice gritted with rage sounded behind me. Fang Yuan, why are you here? Last time you broke my leg. I'm not done with you. It was Zhang Wanwan, still in her wheelchair, her left leg freshly out of plaster, unable to walk yet. After shouting, she seemed to recall something. Her furrowed brow slowly relaxed. Can't handle the hard life. Finally come to your senses. Ready to apologize to Baiken. If you admit your wrongs and reform, I'll consider sparing you, letting you live out your days in peace. I didn't find life bitter. It was far better than before I transmigrated. Jiang Wanwan, stressed over her leg injury, knew nothing of my company with Zhang-ro. I thought it'd be best if her leg healed even later, keeping the Zhang family blind to Zhang-ro's moves. I carefully scanned the surroundings. The nearest camera was blocked by dense sycamore leaves. Concealed. Zhang Wanwan and I stood in a surveillance blind spot, with no one nearby. I flashed a smile. My voice softened, addressing Zhang Wanwan. Which leg did you injure last time? Her face softened. Your memory's that bad. You forgot I broke my left leg. But since you're yielding, I'll reluctantly forgive your actions. I swiftly raised my foot, fiercely kicking her uninjured right leg. Zhang Wanwan screamed, tumbling from her wheelchair, crushed beneath its weight, reduced to whimpering. My mood soared, finally venting for the antagonist. The Zhang family's legacy should have been Zhang Rao's. Since her mother's death, Zhang Wanwan's mother, the mistress, took over, bringing her daughter into the family. Zhang Rao's shares were gradually transferred to her half-sister. A villain with a painful childhood, unvalued by her family, was born. I brushed off the dirt on me, precisely kicking Zhang Wanwan's right leg again, silencing her whimpers. Then I headed straight to the gala's third floor. The hero was in a third-floor private room, a slumber nobody about to marry into wealth. His only pride was his charming face. So at every event, Gu Baiken ensured perfect poise, allowing no flaws. Seeing me, Gu Baiken was startled, then sneered with contempt, addressing me. I know you're unwilling, but what can unwillingness change? Soon I'll be part of the Bai family. He thought I was there to beg Bai Ningbing to take me back. In everyone's eyes, I was madly in love with Bai Ningbing, but now I only wanted to make money. To take the money from the hero and heroine. Gu Baiken's eyes gleamed with cunning. Had used my supposed bullying to gain plenty from me before. Now he wanted to repeat the trick, to secure his marriage into wealth. After the hero and heroine got together, class differences sparked tensions. Bai Ningbing was no longer as attentive to him. Every book's ending stops at the moment of their marriage, abruptly halting. Whether they lived happily ever after was left unwritten. Standing by the low balcony of the private room, Gu Baiken grabbed my hand, his face alight with excitement. I recall countless times he framed me like this, had timed it perfectly. When Bai Ningbing arrived, had tearfully begged me to spare him, even slapping himself twice, then covering his face, acting resilient, telling the heroine not to blame young Master Fang if it eased my anger. A few slaps were deserved, but I knew this trick too well. I didn't understand investment, nor business. The only thing I knew was dragging someone to my level and beating them with my life's experience. The balcony was on the third floor. I glanced down. It was high, taller than a typical fifth floor, not far off. Bai Ningbing was approaching. I lowered my voice with a menacing grin. Guess what happens if I fall from here? Gu Baiken's face paled instantly. The next second, in his terrified gaze, I yanked free of his grip, as if head pushed me. plummeting from the third floor. Screams erupted around me. In that moment of descent, I heard someone shout that Gu Baiken had killed me. I saw him push young Master Fang off the balcony. Call the police! Gu Baiken's horrified face shrank as I fell. The wind roared in my ears. After a brief drop, I landed squarely in a first-floor pool. When the police arrived, I sat here disheveled, looking pitiful, wrapped in a huge towel. More innocent than the hero, Gu Baiken shook his head frantically. It was him. He jumped himself. He framed me. Bai Ningbing's face was grim. Guests' whispers shamed her, saying, Baiken, I saw you push Fang Yuan off. If not for the pool below, falling from that height, he'd be shattered to pieces. How did you become like this? Her final words made Gu Baiken's face turn deathly white. Once upon a time, those words were aimed at me. Whenever they thought I'd harmed his beloved, she'd say disappointedly, addressing me, how did you become like this? Where did the innocent you go? Now the boomerang hit Gu Baiken. Bai Ningbing turned to me, her voice tinged with guilt, addressing me. I know you've been wrong today, but Bay stock is crashing. We can't afford negative news. If you agree to settle, I'll offer compensation. When Gu Baiken falsely accused me of pushing him, Bai Ningbing would blindly say, Fang Yuan, how could you be so cruel? Now that the hero erred, she only wanted to hush the scandal. I knew the heroine was exhausted. Her new project was stolen. The board was tearing into her. Uncle Song among them played the victim, cursing vehemently, acting as if the company would collapse tomorrow. Bai Ningbing still didn't know the traitor, nor that the new company was founded by Zhang Rou and me. With her wedding to Gu Baiken nearing, she couldn't afford more bad press. I timely clutched my forehead. The bruise from the car accident still lingered faintly, adding a touch of fragility. My head hurts so much from the fall. I might have a concussion from hitting the water. 300,000. My lungs hurt too. I swallowed so much pool water. I feel like I won't survive tomorrow. 3 million. The price rose slowly. Annoying. I pulled my phone from its waterproof bag, tearfully lamenting. In just a small cannon fodder, you'll post online and ask netizens what to do about Gu Baiken's attempted murder. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth. 30 million after paying. Bai Ningbing's liquid funds were slashed by a third. I quickly pocketed my phone, wrapped in the towel like a frightened beast. One bowed obediently, praising the boss' generosity. If there's another attempted murder, call me. After the money hit my account, I was about to leave gleefully. A familiar voice shouted my name from the crowd. I fell into a warm embrace. Zhang Rou appeared from nowhere, her face etched with worrying, checking me over anxiously. Falling from such a height. Are you okay? I cut her off, excitedly whispering in her ear to claim credit. The Bai family paid 30 million in compensation. We have funds to invest now. Tonight I'll buy you expensive fruit. Zhang Rao's face didn't show the excitement I expected. Instead, rage flared up. Is money more important than your life? Falling from that height. Were you trying to die? Do you know how worried I was? I don't care for other fruits. I only love apples in this life. She held me tightly. My body stiffened like a wooden carving. No one had ever said they worried about me. In my 20 years of solitary life, it was bleak and impoverished. All feelings etched in my bones were hunger and poverty. In my brief past life, the fruit I ate most was apples. Cheap and filling. Sometimes, if I was lucky, while scavenging cardboard, I'd find a few whole apples. Now light pierced my dark life. I felt a faint sting. Even as Zhang Rou embraced me, my stiff hands didn't know where to rest. I didn't know whether to push her away or hold her tightly as she did. A soft sob. Zhang Rao's voice sounded in my ear, addressing me. You're all I have left in my life. Promise me you'll stay okay. In our close embrace, I felt her trembling clearly. In this strange world, she was all I had too. A sudden jarring interruption. Fang Yuan, what's your relationship with her? Bai Ningbing's face was dark and ugly, as if I'd placed a vibrant green hat on her head. I frowned. I was no longer her fiancé, now busy with my second spring. Who I embraced was none of her business. I was about to retort, when Jong-ro leaned in, pitifully asking me, "Can I get a bed in your place?" To save money, Jong-ro had moved into my rental. She took the bedroom. I slept on the living room sofa cramped, night after night curled up. It was indeed stifling. Thinking of the 30 million, I patted the antagonist's shoulder grandly. "Tonight I'll get you a sturdy big bed, one that won't collapse no matter how it's tossed." The crowd gasped. Their looks turned suggestive. I grabbed Jong-rao's hand to leave, not noticing Bai Ningbing, whose face grew darker. Outside the hotel, an ambulance wailed. Jong-ro swiftly pushed me onto it. "Go to the hospital for a checkup. Don't let any injuries leave lasting damage." As the ambulance sped off, lights flashing, a nurse calmly pulled out a medical form. "You're the one who called about a broken leg. Get right at the hospital." So the ambulance wasn't for me. Then who was it for? After injecting 30 million into the company, the project finally turned profitable. Jong-ro worthy of being the heroine's greatest rival, a natural business genius. In just a month, she snatched several orders from Bai Ningbing, rivaling the heroine in the business world. But I felt uneasy. Every time I went out, it seemed eyes watched me from the shadows. This lasted about half a month. One night, passing a secluded alley, a strong hand dragged me into the dark. A cloth covered my mouth, and I lost consciousness. I awoke on a rocky beach. Salty seawater stung my nostrils. Not far off, waves crashed against a cliff. Beside me was the hero Gu Baiken, also abducted. His face gleamed with excitement, addressing me. "Today I'll show you. In the true by family heir, and Bingbing's choice will always be me." His tone carried a strange madness, like had read too many Yenin-inspired novels. I looked at him calmly. "Have you read too many CEO novels?" Gu Baiken didn't hear. Still lost in his mania, half a year ago, had used the same trick, staging his own kidnapping, vanishing from everyone's sight. Bai Ningbing thought I did it, frantically grabbing my neck shouting, "Why are you so cruel? Why always target the one I love?" Everyone believed I kidnapped out of jealous hatred. That's why I resorted to such a scheme. After that kidnapping case, Bai Ningbing's gaze toward me held only resentment. Meanwhile, she clung to Gu Baiken, as if he were a treasure lost and found. But now the plot had veered off course. According to the epilogue, a week after the gala, the hero and heroine would hold a grand wedding, becoming the envied power couple of high society. Yet time had passed. Their wedding delayed multiple times. The hero's dream of marrying into wealth hit a snag. It was late into the night. The starry sky glittered above. Waves tirelessly crashed against the cliff. A car screeched to a halt nearby. Bai Ningbing stumbled toward us. The kidnapper grinned menacingly, yanking me from the ground, pressing a knife to my throat, shouting that she could only save one of us, and to prepare 50 million. Once the money arrived, had released the other. The cold blade against my skin sent a shiver through me. I recalled the moment I was hit by a car, blood slowly seeping from my body, lying on the hard pavement, feeling my body's warmth fade bit by bit. Bai Ningbing stood at a distance, her voice tinged with annoyance, addressing me. "What trouble are you stirring now? You think staging kidnappings again and again will make me look at you?" She thought I orchestrated this kidnapping to sabotage her love with the hero. Nearby, just arriving, Zhang Wanwan in her wheelchair shouted at me, "Have you caused enough chaos? In the dead of night, are you dragging us here to watch your performance?" Both her legs were in casts, her movements restricted, but the devoted second female lead wouldn't be deterred by such small obstacles. Still determined to save her beloved hero, Bai Ningbing's gaze lingered briefly on me, her eyes heavy. She spoke the choice I already knew. "Since you insist, I'll tell you. I'll only choose Baiken." Gu Baiken's lips curled into a smug smile, whispering softly in my ear to gloat. "See that? Those who once stood by you, now will only choose me. After this kidnapping, Bingbing will realize I'm her true love. She can only be mine." I looked at them expressionlessly, the heroine devoted to the hero, the second female lead longing for him in vain. My gaze passed over their faces, missing the antagonist's voice. Perhaps Jong-ro didn't know I'd been kidnapped. Lately, She'd been swamped with company matters. Maybe she hadn't gone home to rest tonight. The blade still pressed tightly against my neck. Gu Baiken embraced by Ningbing. They didn't even glance at me, certain that with no one to play along, I'd leave like a humiliated clown. I glanced at the churning sea below the cliff. It wasn't too high. I calculated. If I jumped, I could swim half a kilometer to shore. The kidnapper was still diligently acting. Hurry up with the 50 million, or ill. Before he could finish, a blow knocked him out cold. The book's greatest antagonist descended from above. Zhang Ro shaken, her voice trembling with tears. It's my fault. I should have gone home with you, instead of letting you return alone. Her index finger was blooded, as if scraped raw on the cliff. Zhang Ro explained that when she first went bankrupt, she'd sit here drinking, feeling the sea breeze. So she knew this area well. There were jagged rocks under the right cliff. You could climb up using them. The waves matched footsteps perfectly, so the antagonist had been nearby all along. A faint light broke the horizon, piercing the dark night. I turned and wrapped my arms around Zhang Ro. In the faint dawn leaping over the horizon, we held each other tightly. Sirens wailed from afar. The kidnapper's face cycled through vivid expressions, from confusion to shock, then shock to terror, finally collapsing, shouting at Gu. Didn't we agree it was just for show? Why call the police? The kidnapper fumbled for his phone, trying to explain to everyone. It was Mr. Gu who hired me to act. He paid me 200,000 upfront, said he'd give me 300,000 more after marrying into the Bai family. Lately scavenging cardboard's been tough. Some bastard's been rummaging through my bins day and night. So I took this side gig to earn extra cash. How could you call the police? The rising sun lit up Gu Baiken's ashen face. His legs buckled, nearly collapsing. Had always reaped rewards from his schemes, never expecting Zhang Ro to call the police. My arrival had patched up all the idiotic plot holes, making them logical. The fresh sea breeze hit everyone's faces. Bai Ningbing took ages to recover from shock. Her gaze toward me held guilt and embarrassment, endless remorse. She reached out to me. I'm sorry. I always thought you did these things. I didn't know you were framed. Only after the Fang family went bankrupt did her blind eyes clear. Her child was gone. She came to her senses. Zhang Wanwan, still in her wheelchair, was shattered by reality. She couldn't believe the pretty boy she adored had such a vicious heart. The police prepared to take them for questioning. The kidnapper shouted his innocence. In a panic, he grabbed a knife and lunged at Gu Baiken, yelling loudly, "You dared trick me into jail. I'll kill you today." The blade was inches away. Gu Baiken froze, unable to move. In the chaos, Zhang Ro and I exchanged a glance, simultaneously kicking Zhang Wanwan's wheelchair. The devoted second female lead toppled out, colliding with the kidnapper. The knife by chance pierced her right side. She saved her beloved hero, easing all her regrets. Her familiar screams rang out again, piercing my skull. The police swiftly restrained them. I brushed off the sand on me. Meeting Bai Ningbing's guilty eyes, I clutched my head. If we don't settle on mental damages today, I won't drop the case. Don't worry. I won't cover for him with money anymore. Actually, you could cover for him a bit. The truth was out. I won't tolerate such a vicious partner. I could ask for less this time, even if you don't want it. I won't cover for him. Bai Ningbing spoke firmly. In this world I crossed into, it was my first failed negotiation. The money slipped away, leaving me frustrated. I kicked Zhang Wanwan in irritation. She groaned. An ambulance wailed to the bustling beach. The ignored Zhang Wanwan struggled to rise, crawling desperately toward the ambulance, shouting for help. I'm the one who called. You can't leave me behind this time. The antagonist and heroine resumed their fierce rivalry. This time different. Bai Ningbing lacked her protagonist halo. After a string of business failures, she saw the light. Her empire crumbled. The Bai family's funds dried up. Once upon a time, the Bai family faced a similar crisis, but the Fang family had bailed them out. Now she had no one to turn to. Her grand wedding with Gu Baiken became a distant dream. As my first autumn in this world arrived, I sat in my office reviewing quarterly reports. My secretary knocked informing me the Buy Group's CEO wanted to meet. I frowned considering and declined the meeting, but Bai Ningbing seemed desperate out of options, waiting stubbornly outside the company, determined to see me. From morning to evening, the office buzzed with gossip. I knew her purpose. She wanted to discuss a merger with my company. Zhang Ro had crushed her relentlessly. Bai Ningbing had no defense, offering shares. To save the Bai family from bankruptcy, I rubbed my aching temples and met her in the conference room. The heroine looked far more haggard. In the conference room, she held a thick stack of transfer agreements. Meeting my calm gaze, she froze in place. After a moment, her voice filled with surprise and joy addressing me. This company is yours. That's great, let's get married. If you fund the Buy Group, well, pull through. Her audacity impressed me. I thought she delayed marrying the hero, realizing in crisis, a marriage alliance was the best choice. This slumbering pretty boy was just her pastime, useless in critical moments. I lazily lifted my eyes saying to fund the Buy Group, so you can bite me back once you recover. Embarrassment spread across her face. She lowered her head addressing me. The past was a misunderstanding. I was deceived by Gu Baiken. Can we start over? Start over. Can my parents' lives start over too? My parents in this world died in a car crash. Because of the Fang family's collapse, they drove to another city for a business deal. Distracted, their car crashed into a guardrail. Both died on the spot. If I'd crossed over 3 months earlier, I could have stopped that crash. Though Bai Ningbing didn't directly kill them, they died indirectly because of her. I wanted to take all her money and send her to join my parents. Bai Ningbing looked at me, her eyes filled with pain and regret. You still love me, right? I looked up at her, my voice tinged with expectation, asking if she had any money left. Her voice softened, admitting she had none. She owed billions, but it was fine. Once funds arrived, her company would recover, and she'd earn more. But I know you never cared for money. The old Fang Yuan who didn't care for money was gone, replaced by me obsessed with wealth. No money, yet she wasted my time. I slammed the table, shouting what she came for without money. If you don't leave, I'll send you to Myanmar to sell your kidneys. After security dragged Bai Ningbing out, I carried a bag of fruit to the Zhang family mansion. After Zhang Ro ruthlessly suppressed the Bai family, no one in the Zhang family dared challenge her. Naturally, the Zhang family became hers. Plus, a master had divined that Zhang Wanwen's fate was weak. She looked destined for a short life, plagued by constant misfortune. A rocky path. Zhang Ro was better suited to lead the Zhang family. In the mansion, I saw Zhang Wanwan in her wheelchair. She saw me, her eyes lit with surprise. Are you here to see me? I raised the apples in my hand. I heard your arm injury hasn't healed, so I bought apples your sister loves to visit her. Where's your sister? Zhang Wanwen's head drooped in despair. We can't return to our old closeness, can we? In her lowest moments, she yearned for the past. Zhang Wanwan sighed, now with nothing. After the Zhang family returned to Zhangro, her first act was ousting Zhang Wanwan from power. Even my shares in the Zhang family surpassed Zhang Wanwan's. She sat in her wheelchair, both legs freshly out of casts, her right arm badly injured, still bandaged and slung across her chest. She looked utterly defeated, lacking the vigor she had when helping Bai Ningbing against the Fang family. I patted her shoulder, comforting her that though she lost everything, you gained love. Look, your love is here. Gu Baiken appeared at the Zhang family gate. That kidnapping fiasco ended with a few days' detention, but his dreamed-off wedding was dust. The Bai family's collapse drove a wedge between him and the heroine. They parted after a fight. He refused to return to the slums. Luckily, the devoted second female lead was by his side. The spare tire was finally stepping up. In this book, the hero's greatest regret was about to be resolved. Excitedly, I pulled out a washed apple, munching while standing aside to witness this historic moment. But Zhang Wanwan frantically pushed her wheelchair with her good hand, desperately fleeing from Gu Baiken, shouting in panic for him to stay away. Gu Baiken tearfully stood biting his lip addressing Sister Jong. Are you abandoning me too? You said if I turned around, you'd always be behind me. I laughed with disdain. The devoted second female lead legs barely healed, arm broken, struggling to move, still dreaming of standing. The master had ominously predicted. Jong Wonwon was cursed by a malign star. After much thought, she blamed Gu Baiken as that star. Had she not met the hero, she wouldn't have lost everything, or ended up in a wheelchair. Faced with love or life, the devoted second female lead weakly chose the latter. To my surprise, a bony hand reached into my bag for an apple, casually taking a bite. I turned. Jong Rao's smiling face appeared addressing me. Everything's settled nicely. I nodded slightly. The new company was under my name, and 20% of the Jong family shares were mine. Jong Wonwon slapped her wheelchair, shouting at me, "What are you settling? I'm part of the Jong family too. You gave me no shares. Why keep everything from me?" Jong Rao's face hardened. You dare call him Fang Yuan. From now on, call him brother-in-law. My arrival had added a sequel to this concluded story. A twist. The hero and heroine's grand epilogue wedding never came, but my wedding with Jong Ro arrived. As I led Jong Ro down the red carpet, I heard commotion outside the hotel. Gu Baiken in cheap clothes burst in, his eyes bloodshot with resentment, his gaze at me filled with bitterness. Why did the plot change? I was supposed to be everyone's envy. You should be cutting your wrists in a rental. Jong Ro should have died in a basement. Why are you both still alive? He was crazed, suddenly pulling a knife from his sleeve, lunging at me. The crowd panicked, scattering in chaos. Only Jong Wonwon in her wheelchair paled. She struggled to stand, her leg injuries mostly healed. She could walk with a crutch, but was too slow. Jong Ro and I exchanged a glance, simultaneously grabbing Jong Wonwon to shield us. Her screams rang out, calling us elder brothers. Haven't you learned anything about family? You wretched couple, let go. The knife pierced her good left arm. Gu Baiken was dragged away by security. Jong Wonwon collapsed, twitching, whispering she didn't love anymore. She really couldn't love anymore. Someone call 120. I looked at Gu Baiken being hauled off. When I crossed into this world, the book's pages flipped to the epilogue. Its contents had changed. I saw Bai Ningbing holed up in a basement, drinking her days away. One late night, after downing too much liquor, she collapsed, clutching her chest, never rising again. Gu Baiken jailed for assault, released years later, lived in a rundown urban village attic, ultimately taking his own life. My gaze blurred. Jong Ro tugged my hand, leaning in, asking what I was thinking. I snapped back, looking at her. Her eyes brimmed with life, the old gloom gone. I kissed her forehead, wondering why you love apples. Because apples are really delicious.